Harry's Wife, Part 104.33. We are in the Ascendancy. Suck it in. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. We turn to the Telegraph newspaper with an article by Victoria Ward which tells us Prince William and Kate to break from traditional royal engagement model. The royal couple aim to create a lasting legacy by raising money for the local communities they visit. Now, isn't this what Harry's wife does? Doesn't she raise money for the local communities that she visits? Or is it the case, perhaps, that what she does is she turns up with sandwiches from vending machines and it's all about her? Let's find out what the Prince and Princess of Wales have been up to, and also look at it in terms of how would this impact upon Harry's wife, because as we know, as a consequence of her paranoia driven by her narcissism, she keeps tabs on what they are up to, because after all, she needs to know what the nemesis is doing, because she features so prominently in her own life, because she wishes to emulate her, although she would never admit that. The Prince and Princess of Wales are to modernise royal visits by generating cash for local communities. The couple are determined to evolve their way of working in order to create notable change in the areas they visit. In breaking away from the traditional mould of royal engagements, they hope to ensure that the monarchy remains relevant by having a positive impact on the ground. On Thursday, the Prince and Princess piloted the new model called a Community Impact Day in Scarborough, North Yorkshire. Oh, how Harry's wife would love to have come up with that. It contains community and impact to her buzzwords. Ooh, this will burn. The couple announced during the extremely significant visit that £345,000 had been raised through a 3-month collaboration between their Royal Foundation and the local Two Ridings Community Foundation. The money was donated privately by local individuals and organisations and will be used to galvanise long-term support for young people's mental health in the town. It will be distributed to a range of local services by a panel tasked with deciding where it is most needed. Note also the transparency of demonstrating that they're saying it's actually not our money, it was money donated privately by local individuals and organisations. There's no need for chicanery with these two. They make it clear that they're lending their name to it, but they're not claiming that it's in effect their money. Now, of course, Harry and Harry's wife don't expressly state, oh, this is our money we're donating. But what they don't do is make it clear that invariably it has come from donations that other people have been provided, giving it the impression that the donations come from them, giving the impression that they have dipped into their own pockets when actually, as we know, that isn't the case. The panel includes young people who themselves have been supported by local community organisations. To my mind, this seems like a much more effective method of doing this compared to what was the latest bandwagon that Harry's wife had jumped on, where they were saying to teenagers, nominate someone to receive $1,000. Don't seem to be hearing much about how that's going, do we? But here, the panel includes young people who themselves have been supported by local community organisations. The fund is expected to grow in the coming months. The Prince and Princess plan to roll out further pilots next year in different parts of the United Kingdom, each focused on one of the Royal Foundation's specific interest areas. Since the death of Queen Elizabeth II, sources close to the couple have made clear that they intend to tackle their new roles in their own distinct way. Their approach marks a notable shift in tone and is indicative of their desire for the modern monarchy to be more relatable. They will continue to take part in normal visits, but will combine them with the new model. The pilots are considered a signal of intent in terms of their future work, and will allow their Kensington Palace team a chance to tweak and improve the structure as they move forward. In Scarborough, almost 1/3 of residents live in areas that are among the most deprived in England, meaning that mental health provision is often insufficient. the Prince and Princess spent time at a local community hub called The Street, where they met the panel of young people who helped decide on the allocation of funding, and representatives from 3 beneficiaries of the money, Gallows Close Centre, Sidewalk Youth Project and Flash Company Arts. Before leaving, Prince William delivered an off-the-cuff speech in which he said it was crucial to provide valuable mental health services within the community. For Catherine and I, the legacy of today is bringing together and collaborating and showing what can be done when a community comes together, he said. It is something we'd like to follow on, and I hope can be represented more widely across the country. It's also noteworthy that they did so without clasping hands, with no grip of doom, and that one wasn't always dragging the other around. Sources said the funding announcement would not have been possible without the work of the Royal Foundation, which also made a donation. The cash will be used to produce the provision of safe spaces, affordable sports and outdoor activities, youth work, creative workshops and mentoring. Amanda Berry, the chief executive of the Royal Foundation, said the Prince and Princess felt extremely passionate about ensuring young people have access to a wide range of mental health support. Unfortunately, they also use the term passionate, or rather, their chief executive utilises it, overused word, if you ask me. She added the Royal Foundation is therefore delighted that by working with Two Ridings Community Foundation, we have played a pivotal role in galvanising funding to support the organisations doing this vital work in the community, creating a long-lasting impact for young people in Scarborough. Jane Garrell, the Chief Executive of Two Ridings Community Foundation, said the fund offered the perfect opportunity to involve young people in decisions that affect them. These funds are just the start, and we hope others show the same leadership and compassion and invest in this work, she said. One of the young people on the panel, Katie Robinson, said it was great to have their views listened to and their opinions counted. I know what issues young people care about and what support and services they need. So, a favourable visit and, of course, a new way of doing things, which is demonstrative, of course, of the way that the Prince and Princess of Wales are engaging in a method of creating their own ascendancy. Now, as we know, when Harry's wife makes a pronouncement and an appearance, she roundly gets pelted in the below-the-line section, because more and more people see through that she's not doing it because she cares. She's not doing it because she's got emotional empathy. She's doing it because it's all about her. And each time she does something, it's now seen through that lens, to use one of her favourite words. But can the same be said for the Prince and Princess of Wales? Now remember, of course, he's a normal and she's an empath. Therefore, they both have emotional empathy. They don't need to assert control in the way that a narcissist does over people that come within their purview, on their radar. They can be, of course, manipulative, like any person can be manipulative, but it is not a go-to response for them. Let's find out what Below the Line thinks of them. Susan Firth writes, "They are a huge asset to the royal family, the country, and to humanity. Congratulations to them for using their fame and position to benefit others. Gwen Morris." William and Catherine are a fabulous couple. Our country is so lucky to have them both. Eddie Bleasdale, didn't William make a good choice? Neil Whelan, very practical and leaves the ginge and whinge me money grabbers in the dirt. Richard Jones, Kate is like a fine wine. I'm not a massive royalist, but credit where credit is due. They seem to want to make an actual difference. Good on them. Now, you can imagine, can't you, the mini explosions and screams of fury that are occurring as a consequence of Harry's wife reading this. And talking about Harry's wife reading this, Amanda Johnson writes, "I hope Harry's wife is reading this to understand how achieving something is born out of actions, not wokery preaching and talking a lot about yourself." Queen Peep, Catherine or the Princess of Wales, not Kate. Steve Lee, it isn't a lack of respect, though, referring to her in this way. It's genuine affection. Ronald Reagan, how lovely to see a couple dedicated to the service of the nation and thinking about how they can make a practical difference to communities and people. What a sharp contrast to other self-obsessed couples whose focus is whining, playing the victim, or trying to commercialise their royal status for personal gain. PM Bosworth, well done, William and Kate. Thinking ahead for the future in ways that will benefit communities is how the royal family will survive. Paula Fitzhenry, better than the Californians in the philanthropic space, as whingers like to call it. Queen Peep, au contraire, they've raised tons of money for themselves. Stephen Alfrey, the Prince and Princess of Wales are a blessing upon this nation. They represent and reflect what is good and beneficial in having and keeping our millennium-old constitutional monarchy. Robert Watt, smart move, it'll make it harder for the whingers to whinge about the cost of the royal family. Nigel Hewell-Jones, 3 cheers to the Waleses. Over to you now, Harry's wife and Harry. Susan Veal, fantastic stuff. Tim Amers, sounds good as long as there are some tangible benefits and the funds aren't wasted on petty schemes. Please proceed. Linda Barry, what a truly caring, down-to-earth couple they are. We are lucky to have them as our future king and queen, and the princess looks absolutely stunning. Paula Sheridan, oh Harry, you shouldn't have jumped ship. It's sailing into calm and sunny waters. Claire Law, what a wonderful pair. Tad Stone, she is gorgeous. High praise indeed, of course, and all of this demonstrates that they're seen as a credit, and also, of course, the fact that the comparisons are being done between the Prince and Princess of Wales and, of course, Harry and Harry's wife. Jan Hanley writes, Harry's wife and Ginger could really learn a thing or two from Wills and Kate, in my opinion. This, of course, will not go down well with Harry's wife. The nemesis in the Ascendancy. All of this praise and, of course, the unfavourable comparisons for her as against the nemesis. Will she realise she's the problem? Of course not. But more and more people do, and her downward spiral will continue. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.